Texas BBQ, world famous for its smoky flavor, charred crust, and slow-cooked, mouth-watering brisket. You picture long lines, craft beer, Instagram-worthy meat cuts, and bearded pitmasters. But behind all that smoke is a history they don't serve on the tray. It's a lot darker than you've been told. When you Google the story of Texas BBQ, you'll find a story told from the top, not from the fire pits of where it began. You'll find German and Czech immigrants, meat markets, firewood, and sausage. But the truth, it begins long before that, with Native Americans, then enslaved Africans, both feeding those who took everything from them. Their sweat, their smoke, their fire stolen, their stories buried. Now, finally, that buried past is being told, that history being rediscovered, as a new generation of African-American pitmasters take Texas BBQ back to its roots. This is the dark truth about Texas BBQ and why it's so damn good.
Bite after bite after bite, you just constantly are surprised. Dizzying array of flavors and textures by these people who are exercising a craft that takes time to master.
To find the true beginning of barbecue, you have to go back further than Texas, back further even than the American South. See, the word barbacoa comes from the Taino people. They were a tribe in the Caribbean who used the word to describe their cooking, which was a method of slow roasting meat on a wooden frame over an open fire pit.
Barbecue is Native American at its foundation, and I think that gets glossed over. The typical barbecue history narrative talks about indigenous people in the Caribbean.
But what we now call barbecue is more than just putting a pig over a pit. When slaves were brought from West Africa to the Americas, they brought their way of cooking with them. The Hausa people of West Africa had long used spices, drying, and even boiling to tenderize their meat before cooking. On the plantations in the South, their gift for cooking was taken and used without thanks and without choice. Enslaved Africans became the designated pitmasters for their owners. The slave owners would host large party-like barbecues, and who'd be in the pit? The slaves, of course. They were tasked with cooking the whole animal, often a pig or a cow. To cook something that large would take hours, sometimes days, over low fire. But after all that labor, they wouldn't be invited to the party. The plantation owners took the prime cuts. The enslaved cooks and their families were often left with less desirable parts like pig's feet, intestines, or skin. But here's the twist. It was out of that true barbecue was born. The slaves used time-tested methods to transform offcuts into delicacies. Long, slow cooking broke down tough tissue. Smoke and carefully crafted spices like red pepper and vinegar, which were common in their African heritage, turned tough pig's feet into mouth-watering masterpieces. Those ribs that are so popular now, they used to be rejected by the slave owners for being too tough. Many signature barbecue cuts are the product of slaves turning one man's trash into every man's treasure. As culinary historian Adrian Miller documents in his book Black Smoke, this wasn't just cooking, it was an art form born of necessity. So why was its legacy stolen? For centuries, black barbecue contributions were systematically erased. After the Civil War, barbecue became a commercial enterprise. Of course, white men ran the show. Many of them took the credit, marketing these techniques as their own. Unfortunately, the real pioneers, the original pitmasters, were written out of their own story.
And there's a commercial for Paula Deen's Southern Barbecue. I watched the show. 60 minutes later, the credits are rolling. Not one black person was featured on the show.
Texas BBQ didn't just appear overnight. It grew over time from many people and in many places. Long before Texas was Texas, the native people here were already cooking over fire. Then came the enslaved Africans. When slave owners from places like Virginia moved to East Texas, they brought their slaves too. And those enslaved people brought their barbecue. German and Czech immigrants brought sausages and smokehouses. Mexican cowboys or vaqueros roasted meat on open flames. And as the cattle industry exploded and the Civil War ended, all these traditions came together. But the roots, still black. Enslaved people didn't just cook the food, they created it. Beyond the food, barbecue became a crucial social function within enslaved communities. On rare days off, like weddings or holidays, barbecue was a time to celebrate and sometimes a secret way to plan freedom. Plantation owners would exploit these events to project a false image. They wanted to demonstrate their supposed goodness to their enslaved population. Their goal was to mask the violence and injustice of the system. Barbecue feasts portrayed plantation owners more as parents instead of slave owners. For the enslaved, however, these gatherings became important in maintaining their cultural identity. The way they built pits, seasoned meat, and cooked with care, that became the base of Texas barbecue. Texas is a huge state, and so is its barbecue story. To fully understand its rise, we have to look at the full history, especially the important contributions of the black pitmasters who laid the foundations, often without getting the credit they deserved. In Central Texas, German butchers focused on meat and fire, no sauce. In East Texas, black pitmasters made sausages and sweet, tender ribs with rich sauces. In West Texas, cowboys grilled fast over open flames. In South Texas, Mexican barbacoa cooked low and slow in the ground. Each region tells a story. Each taste holds a memory. But at the heart of it all are the enslaved African Americans who made this food their own. Their hands built the fire. Their stories built the flavor. The rise of Texas barbecue to its current status as the barbecue capital of the world represents not just one singular turning point, but years of hard work that was built from the rich cooking styles of African American pitmasters. And that's the truth behind Texas barbecue. Today, when people talk about Texas barbecue, one city usually comes to mind: Austin. While not official, many would say Austin is the barbecue capital of the world, a place where people wait in line for hours, sometimes even before the sun comes up, just to get a taste. And at the center of it all, a new kind of pitmaster. They call themselves new traditionalists. They respect the past, but they also bring in fresh ideas, new flavors, and bold styles. Austin's barbecue boom didn't happen by accident. Magazines like Texas Monthly's Daniel Vaughn started writing about it.
I'm Daniel Vaughn. I am the barbecue editor at Texas Monthly.
Texas Monthly is the barbecue Bible of the state. Daniel is the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly. He is the guy in the barbecue world that you want to come by and write a review or whatever he does about your place.
Food blogs and social media lit the fire. Barbecue festivals and TV shows turned pitmasters into celebrities. This was no longer just meat and smoke. It became a show with long lines, sold-out signs, and brisket that practically needs its own bodyguard. And no one rose faster than Aaron Franklin. Since opening a small trailer in 2009, Franklin Barbecue has turned into a pilgrimage.
I know it's good.
I'm here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and today was the day I got to choose to stand in line for several hours.
As far as we know, there's only one surefire way to skip the very long lines at Franklin Barbecue.
Presidents have ate there. He won a James Beard Award for barbecue, unheard of at the time.
Aaron Franklin here was named the best chef in the Southwest in the James Beard Award. That's one of the most prestigious awards for restaurants in America.
And almost overnight, he became the poster child for Texas barbecue around the world. And he's not alone. Places like Terry Black's Barbecue, with its rich family roots, has been perfecting their techniques for over a century. Known for their iconic brisket, they draw crowds from across the globe. La Barbecue, co-founded in 2012 by the late Leanne Mueller, now run by her wife, Ollie Clem, who has brought bold flavors and a rebellious spirit, proving that barbecue can be both traditional and fiercely original. The restaurant has gained significant recognition, being included in Texas Monthly Top 50 Barbecue Joints and a Michelin star in 2024. Don't overlook Mickleweight Craft Meats, initially operating from an East Austin trailer. They showed that small batch handcrafted barbecue could hold its own in a city full of giants. Mickleweight has received numerous accolades, including being named among Texas Monthly's 10 best barbecue joints in Texas.
It's huge!
It's like a party in my mouth. Awesome. We love Mickleweight Craft Meats!
Together, they have helped turn Austin into a smoky wonderland, a place where barbecue is an experience and a lifestyle. They made barbecue a destination, not an afterthought. But here's the thing. While today's stars stand center stage, the roots of that fire go way deeper, to the people whose names were never printed on menus, whose names and photographs are not mentioned in the famous magazines and publications, but who built barbecue with their bare hands. Before it was a trend, before it was a business, before Austin ever lit its first pit. But while the world was focused on the long lines and celebrity pitmasters of Austin, another story was unfolding. A story of resilience, reclamation, and damn good barbecue. Across Texas, a new generation of black pitmasters is reclaiming the fire, not just cooking barbecue, but restoring its roots. Let's start in Austin with Damian Brockway, the chef behind Distant Relatives. His food isn't just about meat, it's about memory. He calls it modern African American barbecue. Brockway says he wants to work from the foundation his parents and ancestors built for him and his generation. I'm a modern African American. I'm a business owner celebrating my heritage, and we're going to make something new, Brockway says. Every plate tells a story tracing flavors and spices back to West Africa, the Caribbean, and the American South. Spices like African bird chilies, allspice, mace, and nutmeg. His food and techniques are not going unnoticed. His work has earned him a James Beard nomination, Michelin recognition, and praise from food critics nationwide. But for him, it's not about the fame. It's about honoring the ancestors, those whose recipes were never written down but never forgotten. In Fort Worth, Goldie's BBQ, a heartwarming tale of childhood friends, pursuing their passion and achieving incredible success. 5 friends from elementary school started out. 3 remain today: Jalen Hurd, Johnny White, and Lane Milne, all with dreams. All moved to Austin after high school. All learned their craft from different pitmasters at places like Franklin's, La Barbecue, Valentina's, Bangers, and 2M Smokehouse. Their style, traditional Central Texas barbecue. Post oak aged 8 months. Perfect brisket, moist, smoky, and peppery. Sausage made in-house. Their sides, Jalen Hurd says most barbecue spots nail the meats, but their sides are lacking. Not at Goldie's. They nail the sides, like cheesy grits, rotisserie roasted Brussels sprouts, spicy beans with flecks of brisket. And get this, they bake their own bread. It's no wonder they were awarded Texas Monthly #1 barbecue joint in all of Texas in 2021. But for Hurd and his co-owners, it's not about the awards. It's about constantly improving and at the same time staying true to the traditions of what has made Texas barbecue so damn good. Then there's Charles Brewer, a native of Beaumont, who is deeply rooted in the Southeast Texas community. He fell in love with barbecue at a young age, watching his grandfather Leroy Ardoin tend the backyard pit, slowly smoking meats with a patience that would leave a lasting mark on Charlie. It was his grandfather's technique, especially for those famous all-beef links, that laid the foundation for Charlie's bold, old-school style. In 2017, Charlie fulfilled a lifelong dream. He moved from a food truck to a permanent brick-and-mortar location. But his journey is a story of black perseverance, family legacy, and community pride. Running a black-owned business in Southeast Texas wasn't without its challenges, but Charlie met them head-on with hard work and a commitment to being the best, and the world took notice. He's been featured in the New York Times, the Texas Country Reporter, and Texas Monthly put Charlie's on the map when they named him one of the top 25 barbecue restaurants in the state. When asked about it, Charlie didn't boast. He simply said it's an honor. Because for him, this isn't about fame. It's about honoring his grandfather and feeding his neighbors. Charlie's isn't just a restaurant. It's a legacy, a symbol of survival, a place where generations gather, laugh, and enjoy great barbecue. These pitmasters aren't just making amazing food. They're reclaiming a stolen story, one brisket, one fire, and one plate at a time. Because barbecue has always been more than just food. It's history, it's family, it's freedom. And now finally, the people who started it all are taking their place in the spotlight. Barbecue in Texas has never stayed still. It's always been about finding a way, mixing old tradition with new ingredients, new voices, and new stories. Today we're witnessing a new chapter, Fusion Barbecue. At LaRoe Smokehouse in Austin, Texas, pitmaster Aaron Franklin teamed up with James Beard-winning chef Tyson Cole to build something bold. Texas smoke meets Southeast Asian flavor. Brisket with coconut rice. Charred meats with Thai herbs and chili sauces. It's not just delicious, it's a conversation between cultures over a fire. And in a state where Tex-Mex has always been part of the DNA, the blending continues. Barbecue tacos, barbacoa egg rolls, smoked beef cheeks with salsa verde. These aren't trends. They're the natural evolution of a food tradition that has always been built by many hands. But the fire isn't just spreading across Texas, it's circling the globe. You can now find Texas-style barbecue in Tokyo, where pitmasters smoke Wagyu brisket over imported post oak. In London, places like Smokestack slow-cook beef ribs and pulled pork. In Paris, restaurants like The Beast, where chefs pair brisket with Bordeaux wine. In Sydney, they serve smoked short ribs with fermented chili and native herbs. These pitmasters aren't copying Texas, they're translating it, using Texas techniques, low and slow cooking, offset smokers, salt and pepper rubs, and creating their own local flavors. Mango wood in the Philippines, juniper branches in Scandinavia, tamarind glaze in India. This isn't just barbecue anymore, it's a global language, a shared ritual of fire, smoke, and legacy. But even as barbecue goes worldwide, the question remains, will the world remember where it started? Will it honor the hands that built it from nothing? Because to truly understand where barbecue is going, we have to remember who lit the fire. So the next time you're standing in line, waiting for that perfect slice of brisket or ribs, take a moment to remember how it all began, with enslaved Africans who turned fire into art. And now, a new generation of pitmasters is stepping out from behind the smoke, not just carrying the tradition forward, but reclaiming it as their own.